Welcome, brave souls, to another chilling episode of Enigma Chronicles. I'm your host, and tonight we're delving into a tale that will make you question the very boundaries between life and death. Prepare yourselves for a journey into the realm of the supernatural as we explore the ancient book that brought back the dead. You know, dear listeners, there's something about old books that always sends a shiver down my spine. The musty smell, the crackle of aged pages, the secrets they might hold. But what if I told you that there exists a book so powerful, so ancient, that it could actually raise the dead? Sounds like something out of a horror movie, right? Well, buckle up, because this story is all too real. Our tale begins in the dusty back rooms of a small, unassuming library in a town called Millbrook. Now, Millbrook isn't the kind of place you'd expect to find anything out of the ordinary. It's your typical sleepy town, where the most exciting thing that happens is when Mrs. Johnson's cat gets stuck in a tree. But as we all know, it's always the quiet ones you need to watch out for. Enter our protagonist, Emily. She's the new librarian in town, fresh out of college and eager to make her mark. Emily's always had a passion for old books, and when she stumbled upon a hidden room in the library's basement, she thought she'd hit the jackpot. Little did she know, she was about to uncover something that would change her life and the lives of everyone in Millbrook forever. As Emily explored the room, her eyes fell upon a book unlike any she'd ever seen before. It was bound in what looked like human skin, with strange symbols etched into its cover. The title, barely legible, read Liber Mortis, the Book of Death. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably thinking, run, Emily, run far away. But our curious librarian couldn't resist. She opened the book the moment her fingers touched the pages. A cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the lights. Emily swears she heard whispers, voices calling out from beyond the veil. But being the rational person she was, she chalked it up to her imagination and an overactive air conditioning system. As she began to read, Emily realized this was no ordinary book. It contained rituals, incantations, and instructions for communicating with the dead. And not just communicating, we're talking full-on resurrection here, folks. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen enough zombie movies to know that bringing back the dead is never a good idea. But Emily, bless her heart, saw this as an opportunity to help people, to reunite loved ones torn apart by death. Her first experiment was with old Mr. Thompson's dog, Buddy. Buddy had passed away a few weeks earlier, and Mr. Thompson was devastated. Emily thought, what's the harm in bringing back a beloved pet? Oh, sweet, naive Emily. She performed the ritual exactly as the book described, and lo and behold, Buddy came back. But something was off. Buddy's eyes were clouded over, his fur matted and falling out in clumps, and that wagging tail, it looked more like a threat than a greeting. Mr. Thompson was overjoyed at first, but as the days went by, he noticed changes in his once friendly companion. Buddy would growl at nothing, snap at shadows, and howl all through the night. And then there was the smell, like something had crawled inside Buddy and died, which, I suppose, wasn't far from the truth. But Emily, caught up in the excitement of her success, didn't stop there. Word spread quickly in Millbrook about the miraculous resurrection, and soon people were lining up at the library, begging Emily to bring back their deceased loved ones. And Emily, believing she was doing good, obliged. One by one, the dead of Millbrook began to rise. Grandma Ethel, who'd passed in her sleep last winter. Little Timmy, who'd drowned in the lake 2 summers ago. Even old Mayor Higgins, who'd had a heart attack during a town meeting. They all came back, but like Buddy, they weren't quite right. The resurrected walked with a shuffle, their skin an unnatural shade of gray. They didn't eat, didn't sleep, and their eyes, oh, their eyes were empty, devoid of any spark of life. But their families, blinded by grief and joy at having their loved ones back, ignored the signs. As more and more of the dead returned, strange things began happening in Millbrook. Pets went missing, only to be found days later, half-eaten and mutilated. Gardens withered and died overnight. And the smell, that sickly sweet odor of decay, hung over the town like a shroud. Emily, realizing too late the horror she'd unleashed, tried to find a way to undo the resurrections. But the book, that cursed tome, had disappeared. She searched frantically, but it was as if it had vanished into thin air. The situation in Millbrook deteriorated rapidly. The resurrected, no longer content with shuffling around their homes, began to gather in groups, their hollow eyes fixed on the living. People started to disappear. First the elderly and the sick, then anyone who ventured out after dark. Emily, racked with guilt, knew she had to do something. She barricaded herself in the library, poring over every book she could find, searching for a solution. And then, just when all hope seemed lost, she found it. An ancient protection spell said to banish evil spirits and return the dead to their rest. But there was a catch. The spell required a sacrifice, the life of the one who had raised the dead. Emily knew what she had to do. As the resurrected hordes converged on the library, Emily began the ritual. The air crackled with energy, the ground trembled beneath her feet, and as she spoke the final words, a blinding light engulfed the town. When the light faded, the dead were gone. Every resurrected soul had vanished, returned to their eternal slumber. But so had Emily. All that remained was the livor mortis, lying innocently on the library floor, as if nothing had happened. The people of Millbrook, those who survived, swore never to speak of what happened. The book was locked away, hidden where no one would ever find it again, or so they thought. You see, dear listeners, the thing about cursed objects is that they have a way of resurfacing. And who knows, maybe right now, in some dusty old library or a forgotten attic, the livor mortis is waiting, ready to unleash its horrors on an unsuspecting world once again. So the next time you're browsing through an old bookshop or exploring a musty attic, be careful what you read. You never know what ancient evils you might awaken. And remember, if you ever come across a book bound in what looks suspiciously like human skin, for the love of all that's holy, don't open it. Some things are better left buried. If you've enjoyed this tale of terror, why not share your thoughts in the comments? Have you ever encountered a book that gave you the creeps? Or maybe you have your own story of brushes with the supernatural. And if you're brave enough, hit that subscribe button. Who knows what dark secrets we'll uncover in our next episode. Until then, this is Enigma Chronicles, reminding you that sometimes the most terrifying stories are the ones that could be true. Sleep tight, and don't let the resurrected bite.